Are you a nice guy? Are you tired of these women playing games and just going off with jokes? And you're unable to figure out why do they love the jokes so much? So today we're going to be talking about why women love jokes and how to make her want you instead. Now what I'm going to share with you in this video is going to be mind-blowing. It's going to be deep analytical research. It's going to be something that you can use in your life, and you don't have to be an a-hole. You don't have to be a jerk. You don't have to be a player to become more attractive to women. And that's what I'm going to show you in this video. So stick till the end. Now, his unattached attitude is so opposite from a nature, it becomes the ultimate form of masculinity. Now, an asshole, a guy who's a jerk, a guy who's not a nice guy for a woman, a bad boy, so to speak, is very unattached to a woman. He's unattached, he doesn't need her in his life. This means that he's able to let the woman go if that is required in that particular time. And when the woman sees that this guy does not need me, he doesn't want to keep me in his life, the girl gets super attracted. Hey bro, I hope you are enjoying the video that you're watching. Now, if you want to dive deep into female psychology, you want a casual relationship, maybe you want multiple casual relationships, maybe you want a fulfilling, loving relationship. You want to learn how to attract a girl, how to approach a girl, how to text a girl, how to get online dating matches. I'm doing a masterclass the coming week, and the link is going to be in the pinned comment. Slots are going to be extremely limited, so make sure that you sign up for that masterclass. And there's a reason for that, because female nature, when she first starts getting intimate with a guy, is to slowly grow feelings and get attached. Now, female nature is basically, when she first starts hooking up with a guy, she wants to slowly get attached, because at the end of the day, she's risking pregnancy. She's risking reproduction, which is actually a big risk for any woman. And because of that, she wants to be with that particular person, even if it starts as something completely casual. Over the period of time, if you keep on hooking up with a girl, she is going to develop feelings, because that's how female nature acts. That's how female nature is. Now, this creates polarity, because the guy is completely unattached and the woman slowly grows more feelings, and this creates a lot of polarity, and the guy ends up becoming the prize in the woman's side. Now, once he's a prize, he's somewhat of a guy that a woman has to win over. Now, once he becomes a guy who women has to win over, you need to understand a hot girl's reality to actually understand this concept. Now, if you put yourself in a hot girl's shoe, she's meeting a lot of guys. Every girl has a lot of options, even if she's undesirable. Because of Instagram, social media, she's getting hit on by thousands and thousands of men. Now, every hot girl is getting hit on men who are yes men. They're saying yes to all her demands, they're being overly nice to her, they're being overly agreeable to her. And why? Because they all want something out of her. While the other guy, he's acting on his own intent. He's unattached to her, while these other men are showing her that, oh, I really love you, I want to do this, something special for you. Now, the woman might say that she loves all of that attention. She might tell you to be that guy. But at the end of the day, if you become that guy, she's going to lose attraction real fast. So she might say that, oh, I love special gestures. Oh, I love guys doing this for me, doing that for me. But the moment you start doing that, you fall in the rest of the 99% of the guys category. And that's what, women have to deal with on a daily basis. So when they meet a guy who's acting like the prize, he's acting from his own intent, that is a guy that they have to win over. But nice guys, what they do is they're super agreeable. Agreeableness associates with being trusting, submissive, and compliant. It is perceived as naivety, docility, and a tendency to follow rather than to lead. So all the nice guys who are being extremely nice to the girl, first of all, it's sort of a manipulation tactic as well, because they need something out of the woman. It can be a relationship, it can be positive emotions, it can be they want to be in her good books, it can be anything. But are they that nice with their friends? Or are they just being that nice in that particular moment? So it's sort of manipulation as well. You need to ask yourself, if you meet a girl in the club and this actually happened with me. So I met this girl in the club and she's like, hey, I'm moving my house tomorrow and you have a car, can you come and help me? Now, if I met another guy in the club, would I do that for that particular guy? Hell no, I'm not going on a Monday to help someone random I just met last night. So the same thing applies to her. But most guys, when they're stuck in this situation, they'd be like, what time do you have to go? Oh, I'll try to readjust my day and I'll try to, in the hopes of getting laid. And the woman knows that. Women are using that against you. The woman knows that, they're using it against you, they're using it as a personal favor, but you still are doing it anyways because you have the hope of getting laid. That means you're nice because of a reason. You're not that nice inherently. If you were, if you met some guy last night in the club and you would do that for him, then probably that's your nature. Now you might be thinking, okay, so if you're not going to help her, does that mean I have to be a jerk to her? No. You don't have to be a jerk for her to like you. Now, in that situation, I would just tell her that, hey, listen, I'm busy and I don't do that for random people. But once I get to know you, maybe I can help you out. But right now, we're in the getting to know each other phase, so let's continue that. Now, most men, they think that I have to be a dick if I want to be attractive. I have to be an asshole because most women like assholes. And understand, guys, most assholes were nice guys at some point of time as well. They've been hurt so much that they just stopped caring. They stopped giving a fuck. Now, if you're a nice guy and you want to become highly attractive to women, you don't have to be a jerk. You don't have to be a jerk. But you have to internalize these points by heart. And guys, I live by these pointers, and I think you should too. If you want a good dating life, if you want not to be manipulated by women, if you want to be a guy who has an abundant dating life, you've got to live by these points. Now, let me break it down for you. Act from your own intent. Whatever your intent is, for example, the club story I told you about, my intent on a Monday is to go to work. Now, if your intent is to go to work, then you got to act by your own intent. You cannot change what you need to do because some woman wants you to do that. So understand, you need to act from your own intent always. Be unapologetic about your attraction towards her. Now, most nice guys, when they meet a woman, they're like, okay, let me just not tell her that I'm attracted to her. Let me just be this guy who's always friendly, always available, always helpful, and in the hopes that she might be aware that I have a dick. Now, when you're always available, always nice, always helpful, always caring, she starts looking at this and she starts using you for you. She friend zones you, and then, she's asking you for multiple favors, but because you want to be nice, you're always doing those favors because in the hope of getting laid or in the hope of getting into a relationship at some time. So do not do that. Instead, be unapologetic about your attraction towards her because you need to understand that women love sex equally as men do. So if you think that, you telling her that you're attracted towards her is going to cut your chances, you should do that right away because you don't want to waste any more minute, a single thought on a person who doesn't want to be with you. Take the responsibility of leading the interaction towards intimacy. Now, as a man, it's your job to take the responsibility of her shoulders and lead the interaction to intimacy. Now, nice guys, they do this all wrong. Now, if you're on a date with a girl and you're thinking, if I take this girl home, then she might be thinking I'm interested in sex and she might judge me. But the reality is, if you don't try, she's on a date, she's not on a business meeting, right? If you don't even try to touch her, if you don't even try to escalate, if you don't even try to take things forward, then things won't be really going forward. So make sure that you take the responsibility off her shoulders and you lead the interaction towards intimacy. Do not take anything personally. Now, I want you to close your eyes and I want you to imagine if you're living an abundant dating life. You're at home, you have 10 girls sleeping at home, you go out to the bar and you talk to a girl and you're like, hey, excuse me, I see you and you're wearing that beautiful dress. And she's like, what'd you say to me? Off from here. How would that guy react? It's alright, the dress was not that great either, I was just having fun, right? He's not going to be butthurt, he's not going to be, oh my god, did you just tell me to fuck off? That means I'm a bad person, that means I don't have that value, that means that I'm not attractive enough. Now, if you do that, you're basically victimizing yourself. So stop being a victim. Be a go-getter. Alright? Be a go-getter and stop taking things personally. Any person who's having an abundant life without insecurities is not going to take things personally at all. Moving on to don't give into your emotions. Now, again, this relates back to my last video which I created, and if you've not watched that, I'll add a link over here. You can watch that. It's more about how to get girls to like you and the one thing that they cannot resist. Now, this comes down to that, don't give into your emotions. Now, if you're a guy who's giving into his emotions and you might be hearing all this advice about just be yourself and just, express whatever you feel, then you need to understand you're acting on emotional impulses. And because you're acting on emotional impulses, you will lose attraction. The woman will lose attraction for you because she's looking for a competent man. A competent man is someone who's literally calm and centered in the time of adversity so that she can rely and depend on you as a man. But if you're a guy who has a lot of emotions and you're acting on those emotions, then it's going to go wrong for you and you're going to lose the attractiveness. Now, be naughty around women. Now, the reason it's in a circle and there's a star above it is because a lot of guys, at the end of the day, they're not naughty enough. They don't have what it takes to touch a woman. They're always thinking, can I touch her? Can I be a little bit naughty? What would she think? Now, if you're thinking all of this, I have to create a different video on this particular topic because it's a topic in itself. I'll add that video towards the end, but you got to be naughty around women. You got to be mischievous around women because either you can be a guy who's uptight and stifled and you're talking to them, Or you can be a guy who's a little flirtatious, a little bit more naughty, a little bit more touchy. I'm not saying that do it without consent, don't get me wrong. Always have consent. But if you set the frame where you're a guy who's generally touchy, for example, if you go out on the first date, you give her a big hug and like, hey, long time no see. She's gonna be comfortable with your touch throughout the date. But if you just go there and you're like, hey, what's your name? Oh, long time no see, nice to meet you. Why don't you sit over there? Then the moment you touch her, she's gonna feel like, oh, this guy, he's not that touchy in general. Like, why is he touching me? Why is he doing something out of the ordinary? Why is he not being himself? So always be naughty. Always, guys. Moving to the last principle that you gotta internalize, but this is the principle which is one of the most important, is always have strong boundaries when it comes to people. It's not only women, I mean guy friends, girlfriends, but this time we're talking about dating. So always have strong boundaries, because what nice guys do is, even if a woman disrespects them, even if a woman is extremely arrogant or extremely rude to them, they'd still prefer to be nice to her in the hopes of getting laid. But what you're doing is you're sacrificing your self-identity and your self-respect for her. And at the end of the day, no matter how attractive the woman is, do not lose your self-respect. She can be the most attractive woman you've met, but once you lose your self-respect, it's very hard to gain it back. Plus, you also are okay with losing your self-respect. Now, let me explain what I mean. So I was dating one really attractive girl, and this girl was an ideal 10 in my mind. But the way she was acting, the way she was behaving with me was something that was not acceptable and something which was sort of on my boundary. So she used to disappear after every 2-3 months for a week or 2 weeks, and it was long distance. So of course the only mode of communication was the phone call or a video call, and she used to disappear. She did that once, so I gave her a slight warning, setting my boundary like, hey, listen, you can let me know if you want to disappear for a while. I do that myself, when I'm focusing on work. But do let me know so that I'm not texting you in the second day and the third day thinking what has happened. And the girl's like, all right. And she does this again. Now, because she's attractive, probably in the past she's gotten away with all of this. But because I have some boundaries, I'm not going to let this pass. Because I know if I let this pass, then the next thing is probably going to be something even worse. So I told her, I know this can be probably a behavior pattern for you because you're very attractive and you know that, and you've probably been getting away with this. But in my case, I'm looking for something more serious at this point of my life. So I don't think this is gonna pass, and I don't think we're a right fit for each other. Best of luck for your life. Now, the moment I said this, the tables shifted and she started chasing real mad. But is that behavior something that I'm gonna accept in life? Hell no. So once I've decided that it's off, and it was off. And that's exactly what you should do. You should always give them one chance, set your boundary, and if they overstep your boundary again and again, that means it's a behavior pattern for them. Then it's on you whether you want to shift that boundary. Personally, for me, I'm not going to shift any of my boundaries because they're there for a reason. So if you want to shift your boundary, you can, but as a strong, independent man, I would suggest you don't. Now, all of this is going to help you internalize those traits that bad boys have without being bad. All of those traits that women actually find attractive. But let's get down to the action part and what you can actually do to implement all of these things. First thing is, never focus all your attention on a single person. Unless and until you're exclusive, you've hooked up with her a couple of times, there's sexual compatibility, and you've spoken about this verbally. Now, I see with a lot of guys, and I've been guilty of it too, and you're dating a girl casually and she feels that, okay, since we've been hooking up since like a year or maybe 3 months or maybe even a month, maybe it's exclusive. It's like, it's not said completely in the relationship, but it's like the unsaid exclusivity. Now, never fall prey to unsaid exclusivity. Now, how I come over it is I'll always tell the girl that, yeah, there are some women I'm romantically interested in. Now, this keeps it classy because you're not saying that, hey, I'm banging a bunch of girls on the side, I have some side pieces, but you're just saying that there are some girls I'm romantically invested in. That's all. Now, once you've said that, obviously the girl is also going to see other guys, and you should be okay with that. Unless and until you want to take it to a serious tangent, then you express your emotions, you tell her that, hey, listen, I think this is going good, I think we should be exclusive, and then be exclusive. But just because you've hooked up with her twice doesn't mean that you have to be exclusive. Unless and until you're lying to her, which I would not condone. If you're a guy who has to lie to get into a woman's pants, funny enough, that is exactly what a nice guy would do. He would lie, he would manipulate, he would, be extremely super nice, overly nice, caring and thoughtful just to get into her pants. So, do not do that. Do not do that. You don't have to lie to get into any girl's pants. Have a life apart from dating. Now, I was talking to one of my friends and We were just talking, and I actually literally had no life apart from dating. When I was 21 years old, I was probably going out on like 40 to 50 dates in a month. I was sleeping on dates. I was sleeping with dates. It was crazy. So what I mean is, if you don't have a life apart from dating, life is quite hollow, right? If you're just not working on yourself, if you're just working on your dating life, the next, it's sort of psychopathic in nature as well. And that's what I realized over the period of time that I've done this, is you need to have a life apart from dating. You need to have other areas where you're interested in. You need to work on your wealth, your passion. You need to work on your knowledge. You need to work on, your nutrition, your fitness, and all of this sort of improves you as a person. Which brings me to the next point, is constantly improve the product and the pitch. Now, what is the product and the pitch? The product being you, as you, the person, and the pitch being your social intelligence and your social calibration when you're going out and when you're trying to talk to people. Now, most guys, they don't even focus on the product, they don't even focus on the pitch. Now, how do you focus on the product? Go hit the gym, eat healthy, have nice relationships in your life. How do you fix the pitch? Learn about approaching. Go out and do a repetition of these approaches to understand what's going wrong and where you're messing up. Learn about your personality skills. Work on your non-verbal communication as well as your verbal communication skills. All of this is going to improve your pitch. And also, once you improve the product and the pitch, that's sort of the ultimate man that women actually want. Now, if you're a guy who feels a lot, you think that I have so many emotions in me, practice meditation to remain centered, because you want to be a completely centered guy at the time of adversity, or even when you're talking to a woman, you should not have a flinch in your emotions. Meditation really helps you in being calm and centered, and you can also find some on YouTube itself. Now, you also need to be more disagreeable with women and learn how to say no. Now, that's the biggest problem that most men have, is that they're never going to say no to a woman. Hey, sweetheart, can you come pick me up 50 minutes away? Oh, yes, babe, I'm on my way. Hey, can you come to this club, pick me up? Yes, I'm on my way. Hey, can we go to this restaurant? Yes, we can, definitely. It's like you're shutting down your opinion for everything that you want to do. Never. Learn how to say no, learn how to cancel dates, learn how to say no to women, because you might be in a people's pleasing phase where you might be like, okay, if I say yes to her, she might like me. But at the end of the day, what is that doing is that is making you overly available for her, and she's taking you for granted, because if you're overly available, your value significantly drops in her eyes, and because of that, you just become an option. So learn how to say no to women, and you don't have to be rude, you don't have to be a dick. All you need to do is just say no. Which brings me to the next point, be gentle but not nice. Now, you need to have this certain sense of yin and yang energy when it comes to mixing the player vibe with the gentleman vibe, because if it's too playerish, no girl is going to look at you from a long-term perspective of dating. And if you're too nice or if you're too kind, no girl is going to look at you from a short-term dating perspective. So you need to balance the energy of being gentle and balance the energy of being playerish. Now, how do you balance that? You have certain boundaries, you act from your own intent, you be non-apologetic about your attraction, you take the responsibility of leading the interaction towards intimacy, you don't take anything personally, you don't give into your emotions, and you also be naughty with women, which I'm going to talk about in the next video. Now, all of this is going to help you not become the jerk, but still become the man that she craves. So if you want to become a man that she craves, all you need to do is click the pinned comment below, schedule a call with my team, let's see if you're the right fit to work together, and let me help you change your dating life.